Hello everyone, and welcome to the new collection. We're starting a new collection this day. Today it's the first in the series, which is going to be the Phoenix Reborn Collection. This collection is going to include reworks to not all, but to a few heroes. And yeah, we're going to be starting with just 3. But the main purpose of this is to turn characters that I like into the perfect versions of themselves. This is not about making a balanced character. This is about making a character that I personally would absolutely adore. And it's about changing characters into something that I think is much more enjoyable. We are starting with Mercy. And we're going to be turning her into what I've called the SBBM, which is the skill-based Mercy. I did the B twice because I'm a moron. But yes, welcome back to Nebula's domain. We're here once again, just saying hello to the old man. We got him pre-prepared this time, and we are going to have to just get rid of him once more. We can't have old men in Nebula's domain. It is just not okay with me. So we are going to get rid of him, and that is going to be the beginning. So yeah, this is a bit of fun. This might be overpowered, but you know, sue me. Blizzard's not actually going to do this, but we're going to be reworking Mercy into a skill-based version of her, which will be more enjoyable for me to play, and something that I think would be much cooler. So, starting off, we have the stats, and it's for Seraphim. Seraphim is what we are changing Mercy's name to. She is going to get a glow up. Let me tell you that, because Mercy has now rejoined Overwatch, but she realizes that sometimes violence is the answer. Sometimes you do need to put your foot down and say, listen, we've tried to be reasonable, Ramatra, but this is enough. It fits her Vengeance mythic skin perfectly, and the Seraphim is her changing her name. She is no longer merciful. She is simply compassionate, and she understands what she needs to do now is maybe perhaps not just to be, so blind and so peaceful and so, all of that stuff. She understands that something needs to be done about these Omnics because it is not okay what Ramatra is up to. Her passive is going to be called Seraph's Soar. So this, just to be clear, is actually going to be working exactly the same as her current Guardian Angel ability, but it's going to be a passive now. Since they stole Mercy's passive from her and gave it to all of the healers, I guess they did fix it by making her heal herself with her rod. But yeah, so this only has a 1.5 second cooldown because that's the correct cooldown. But essentially what you could do is if you're in the air, you can dash to allies with this passive in the exact same way that she does now. And you can do a second soar afterwards as well. It works exactly the same. I'm not going to explain this passive. Next, we're going to have to explain 2 things, because these are not passives, but there is a buff and a debuff that Seraphim is capable of applying. So she can apply Glory, that's her buff. Glory will heal for 15 health per second, and if it's on Seraphim, it will heal her for twice as much. So if she has Glory on an ally, it heals 15 health per second. If she has Glory on on herself, it will heal her for 30 health per second. Next is the debuff Penance. Penance will do 10 damage per second to an enemy and increase their damage received from allied heroes other than Seraphim by 15%. So Penance doesn't boost Seraphim's damage at all. Once she's marked a target for Penance, everybody else does 15% more damage to them, but Seraphim herself still remains fairly weak. So let's check out what we've done to Mercy then. So she does, I know I said stats earlier, but now Seraphim's health is 175 and she has 50 armor. After joining Overwatch's reunion, she's got Brigitte to give her some armor, and she's got the Valkyrie suit decked out with armor because she understands she's no longer going to be, you know, the doctor at Overwatch. She is going to be a field medic. She is a combat medic. She needs the armor, and that's why she's got 175 health and 50 armor. This is the only acceptable thing, Blizzard. Either give her 250 health or give her 50 armor. There is no choice. You must listen to me. Seraphim's primary fire is called Judgement, which throws a bolt of light which will heal allies and apply penance on hostiles. So let's talk about it. Throws a bolt of light once every 0.6 seconds, which will travel at 30 meters per second. So not ridiculously slow, but not ridiculously fast either. She just throws these bolts, and to clarify, that means that if I was to throw it here, and there's a 0, 1, kind of similar projectile speed to this pistol, actually. But yeah, maybe, I don't know. It's about one. It means it will travel that distance in 1 second either way. Maybe I'm counting weird. If it hits an ally, it will heal them instantly for 40 HP. So, 40 HP. That is how much it heals for. However, it will also apply glory to them for 5 seconds, which will heal an additional 75 health. If we were to do the maths around that, which I definitely should have had pre-prepared, 40 health times by... oh, gosh. You know what? I can't. I've done the math somewhere. It's too late for me to be thinking this much, and I don't want to get down this rabbit hole. Essentially, if you count glory, which you should, it heals 15 health per second, and if she hits them with the 1 heal per 0.6 seconds, that means that you're getting 15 health per second, plus about you know, 75 health per second from her bolt. So she heals way more now, but you do have to aim them, you do have to look at people and throw a bolt at them. But the big advantage, which is really quite big, is that it will apply glory for 5 seconds. This means once you've thrown a healing bolt at someone, you can potentially just leave them. I really love the idea of a lingering heal. I know Moira is probably one of the few characters to do this, but I really love the idea that you throw a bolt at someone, and then it has that lingering effect. It's not a huge lingering effect, only 15 health per second. That's half of what Zenyatta's orb does, which, you know, isn't exactly known for its vast amount of healing. But it does mean if I throw a ball at this guy and then throw a ball at this guy, that I've got them both healing up over time. And that gives you an incentive. If you listen to me on my previous video, you might have noticed one of my complaints about Mercy is that it's not easy to damage boost because ultimately you have to heal so much. But if you left a lingering heal on them, then you'd have time to heal and then damage boost. In the same way that Moira can leave a little heal on them and quickly get some healing back like that. You see? And it ends up being much smoother to play. So this is actually the antithesis of this, because 5 whole seconds does mean that if she just hits a glory on someone, she could throw 1 ball at them, walk away, and that would heal a total of 115 health over 5 seconds, which is a lot for just a simple, you know, toss of a ball. Maybe you could tone that down a little bit, down to 4 seconds to heal 60 health. That's 100 health for 1 ball. I'm kind of a fan of the 75, because I think with Mercy, what I would like is more opportunity to do the damage side of Mercy, the damage boost. So let's talk about it. Enemy heroes struck will receive 30 instant damage, so they take 30 damage instantly, and will be afflicted with Penance, doing an additional 30 damage over 3 seconds. For this duration, they also receive 15% more damage from your other allies. Both effects refresh duration. They do not stack strength. You cannot apply multiple stacks of glory. One stack of glory, 15 health per second. If I was to throw a ball at this guy and then throw another ball, it just refreshes the duration back to 5 seconds. It still remains at 15 additional health per second. The same with Penance. You can only have one stack of Penance, which is 15% damage per taken per stack, and you can't have multiple stacks. So the damage version means that Seraphim here is actually super weak in a 1v1. First off, she doesn't actually get the 15% damage bonus that she's providing to her teammates, which means that her DPS on a target is somewhere between like 60 and 70-ish. And that's not very good, particularly as she does have to aim at some fairly mediocrely speeded projectiles. They're not ridiculously fast. So she's not meant to be a duelist, and this damage is clearly not all that great for her to be a duelist. And to be honest, that's kind of how I feel about supports. I think if their damage allows them to win duels, then it's too good. And that's why I think about Kiriko, by the way. And Baptiste. I think their damage needs to be not as easy to win in duels. But let's talk about that 15% more damage. That is a huge amount of extra damage. I mean, Discord is only 25%, right? Or it might be 30% now, but I don't know. But the idea is that is a big increase to the damage you're taking. And that means that Seraphim is very hugely incentivized to play both aggressive and heal. She actually gets a good benefit from attacking, whereas with Mercy, you're only getting a damage boost on one teammate a portion of the time, provided that you don't need to be healing. So yeah, I think that this is a really cool version of essentially what Mercy does, which is heal and damage boost. It's no real different. And that is, of course, the idea of the Phoenix Reborn characters. They are supposed to be doing roughly the same things. But here's where we are going to add a little bit to Mercy. And I'm going to be a tad bit cheeky on this one. So you're going to have to forgive me. Sorry, I'm going to retake. I'm actually going to do this retake just for chapters. So anyone who wants to listen to the whole thing, go for it. But if you don't, then the chapters are there. So here we go. Seraphim's alternate fire is called Transcendence / Damnation, or Transcendence or Damnation. Ah, come on. If I'm about to have a sneezing fit, I'm about to pause. Okay, I don't think so, but we'll see. So, what does Transcendence or Damnation do? Well, if you're looking at an ally, it will become Transcendence, and if you're looking at an enemy, it will become Damnation. And I'm going to explain what that is after I'm done sneezing. Sorry about that. We're back. So, Transcendence and Damnation. Consume glory on an ally or consume penance on an enemy hero, protecting the ally or anti-healing the hostile. So, if you look at an applicable target, it will highlight them with a reticle. We all have seen this before. It's nothing really too crazy. There is the reticle. There it is. You can see it nice and easily highlighted, telling me that I can do my Guardian Angel. That's what we're going to see. Applicable targets will be anyone affected by glory or penance. So there will be no highlighting on people who do not have either glory or penance on them. When you use this, it will immediately remove the associated effect from the target. So if they've got glory, it's gone. You've actually removed the heal from them. And if you use it on an enemy, then the debuff for penance is gone, and they will no longer take 15% more damage, unless of course you hit them again, at which point the penance or glory will be reapplied, obviously. Allies will be cleansed of all effects and gain 75 overhealth. Hostiles will be cursed with 75 anti-heal, prevented the next 75 healing on them. This will last for 2 seconds, and this has a 10-second cooldown. So, I have been a long advocate. When I played Mercy back in Overwatch 1, I have long since said that Mercy should have a cleanse as her other ability. Now, in the past, I said that the way it should work is the target that she has clutched with her healing stream. If you use the shift ability or whatever button you would like, it will instantly remove all or cleanse that person, potentially make them immune to damage for like half a second, in the same way that Suzu Charm works, and give them a small heal. And I think that's a much healthier way to have a cleanse, because it's just one target, and Mercy has to be right next to them, or have her beam on that person to do it. So I think that that's totally fair. But of course, Seraphim doesn't have the staff, so she instead needs just a reticle. But I think this is also perfectly good. First off, you need to left click them at least once, and then you can immediately Transcendence them or Damnation them. And I think that Cleansing Effect and 75 over health is a pretty decent little effect to help heal people should she need some immediate healing, because she doesn't have an insane amount of immediate healing. Whereas if we look at most healers, they've got some way to do a significant amount of healing quite quickly with, okay, well, there we go. I didn't, Brig. We all know Brig has it. Lucia's got that. Lucia's got just Amp It Up. Heal Orb from this, from her. Lifeweaver has his little jump. And not everyone, let's be clear, not all of them do. So Zen doesn't. I don't think Juno does. Ilyari doesn't. Kiriko does. She's got the Suzu Charm. So yeah. This is her ability to quickly and accurately heal one person and protect them, or she could use it potentially as anti-heal. Now, I think this is a slightly healthier anti-heal. It will prevent 75 healing on a hostile. So if you... Essentially, well, Anna just got buffed, so if you were to Damnation an enemy, and then Anna shoots them, it would do nothing for that shot. That entire shot has been countered by the 75 anti-heal. So yeah, the reason I feel like Mercy needed both Transcendence and Damnation is because so many healers have both offense and defense in their kit nowadays. And I think Seraphim could really do with an ability which has potential to be used either way, either to help keep your tank alive, cleansing him, or someone being dove in the backline, your other healer perhaps, giving them that extra overhelp and cleansing, or the ability to focus fire down a DPS who's overextended and potentially only has the opportunity to get some desperate healing somewhere. So yeah, Damnation can be cleansed by Suzu-chan, and funny enough, Damnation can be cleansed by Transcendence if you have it on the other team. So it's completely cleansable. But yeah, I thought that was a neat little ability, which I have always felt like Mercy needs one more skill, and that is the kind of ability that I would put in her kit, here with Seraphim. Seraphim's first ability is going to be called Ascension. So Ascension is going to be taking a part of Mercy's current kit and upgrading it to make it more awesome and also much cooler. So this is the disadvantage of me not properly explaining the passive. The passive only allows you to do this part of her movement. And as we all know, Mercy is capable of that as well, going upwards. But do not fear, for that is why Ascension is here. Explode in light, healing yourself and rising into the sky before firing a powerful projectile dealing heavy damage. That is a bit of an exaggeration, but let's see. So, essentially, you will apply glory to yourself for 2 seconds and will rapidly ascend 15 meters upwards.
Over there.
Okay, we're changing that to 10 meters. I hadn't thought about it. We'll change it to 12 meters. There we go. 15's... To be fair, 15 could be okay, but that's 10 up there. No, I think we could probably be okay with 10. I'm leaving it at 12, but I think 10's okay. So you will explode, gain 2 seconds of glory, which will heal you for 30 health per second, so that's 60 health, over 2 seconds, don't forget. So it's not a totally instant heal here for Seraphim, but she will ascend 12 meters into the sky. Then, Your next primary fire within 2 seconds has twice the projectile size and will explode in a 3-meter radius, dealing double the instant damage or healing to any target struck, and applying glory to all allies struck and penance to all hostiles struck. So this is actually inspired from a game that I played called Smite. It's not similar to Overwatch at all. But essentially, her primary fire is a light ball that it can only hit one target. This will increase the size of the light ball and make it explode on impact with the ground in a 3-meter radius. I'll show you a 3-meter radius. And any ally hit by it is instantly healed for 80 health and will get glory applied to them for 5 seconds. And all enemies hit will be instantly damaged for 60 health and will get penance applied to them for 3 seconds. 3-meter radius, as you can see, is going to be about there. So the circle will be like that. Which is, relatively not that much bigger. So I don't anticipate you to, it's sort of like a 5-meter radius ball where you could potentially, be able to, hit anyone in this area. It's literally just a little 3-meter radius area. But if there are a couple people on the same spot, you will hit both of them. If there is a lot of people in the same spot, you could hit both of them. But yeah, this is a 8-second cooldown, and it's designed to give Seraphim a little bit of assistance on the AoE side of the healing, and it's also a bit of more mobility, because I think the thing that makes Mercy so fun for me is her ability to move around so quickly and so freely, and I do think that the super jump is a big part of that. And so giving Ascendance here an awesome little projectile shot, which isn't massively better, by the way. It's 30 more damage, right? You're still not killing anyone in a 1v1, even with the extra 60 health. But yeah, I think this is a cool ability. I'd be tempted to up the cooldown to 10 seconds, but I genuinely do think it's fine at 8. Seraphim's second ability is called Eye of Rebirth. Yes, the Eye of Rebirth. So we are sticking to our Mercy theme here. This is the improved Mercy, or the Phoenix Reborn Mercy, the Neb remake Mercy, the SBM Mercy, the skill-based Mercy, as apparently was what I just said. Protect an ally from death for a brief duration, bringing them to you upon their death. So, how does it work? You can protect an ally up to 30 meters away for 3 seconds. Should they take lethal damage, they become immune to damage and over 1.5 seconds are teleported to you, healing them for 25% of their maximum health and applying glory to them for 5 seconds. If this fails to save someone, the cooldown is reduced by 50%. So, the cooldown for this is 30 seconds, and we're going to explain exactly how this works. It is actually quite basic. But this is not actually too much inspired by the new, I think it was in Junkenstein's, where you could put I think it was Junkenstein's laboratory, where you could res someone before they went into combat, and then if they died, they got instantly resurrected. I believe that was in Junkenstein's Revenge, or Junkenstein's laboratory even. But this isn't what inspired this. I came up with this idea before Junkenstein's laboratory. This actually comes from another idea from Smite, which is how the Resurrect is handled in Smite. Kepri mains, let's go. I am a Kepri main, sue me. So, what's the deal? The idea is it's going to work similar to Lifebinder's pull. Essentially, instead of pulling them immediately like this does, it would instead place a blessing on them for up to 3 seconds. So they only have 3 seconds of protection. So you've got to time this pretty well. If they take lethal damage, then they are pulled towards you and they are healed for 25% of their max health. If it's a tank, that's quite a lot of health, isn't it? 25% of like 600 is 150 health, whereas 25% of 250 is only going to be like, what, 60 healthish? Something like that. Now, it does have a 30-second cooldown if it resurrects someone, but that's the same as Mercy's current one. And it does also apply Glory to them for 5 seconds, which will heal them for 75 additional health per second. So you could just res them and then leave them to, regen up if you are desperate. However, if you apply it to someone, 3 seconds pass and they do not die, then the buff comes off and the ability goes on a 15-second cooldown. So if anyone says there is no punishment for failing this, the punishment is that your teammates are now completely vulnerable to death for the next 15 seconds. That is a long time in Overwatch. That is a lot of time. You could be dead easily in that time. So there is a big incentive to make sure you get the time set up on it correctly. Otherwise, you're going to get no value out of this ability. I think this is a much better version than Mercy's current res. I'm going to explain why I don't like Mercy's res in its current state. And I have been playing WoW Classic, and I must admit, Overwatch Classic, and I must admit, I'm starting to see why people thought that, Mercy's old res was such a problem. Definitely, obviously we're much better than we were back then. I am going to be doing a video on that sort of nostalgia and sort of all that stuff, to explain, how we forget about all of the improvements that have happened in the game, and we just go, oh, Overwatch was better when it launched. It's like, it really wasn't. I'm really enjoying it, no shade. It's been great fun, but Overwatch at launch was an absolute train wreck. I will make a video on that. Back onto the task at hand. The thing I don't like about Mercy's res is, one, she only has 225 health, so standing still for any amount of time just feels very suicidal. The second thing I really don't like about it is it just doesn't feel nice to use. Like, look how horrible it feels. Look how slow you have to move when you're doing it. It just feels really horrible to use. When Mercy first got her res and it was an instant cast, it at least felt nice to use. So I didn't mind it as much, but now res feels horrible to use. It just feels so slow, so sluggish, anyone could kill you in that time. How do we fix it? Well, the way that I fix it is by making it a skill-based ability. Eye of Rebirth means you've got to keep your eye on, excuse the pun, you've got to keep your eye on how much health your guy has and if he's about to die. You need to be keeping an eye on those things because you can prevent it. The other thing that's nice is if you're the enemy team, there's easy ways to play around this ability. If you see the Eye of Rebirth come up, you might be tempted to just not kill him, just hold fire. Wait the 3 seconds. And then, she has to wait 15-second cooldown. So I think Seraphim's Eye of Rebirth is much more enjoyable to use for the Seraphim. And I think it's a ability which has more counterplay for the other team, and it doesn't feel quite so horrible as Mercy's current res. Once again, if you're going to say that this is OP, maybe it is, but I'm just going to... That's not really the point of this. Finally, Seraphim's ultimate ability is called Glory on High. Now, if you play Warframe, you already know where I've got that name from. And if you play Warframe, as it turns out, the light beams or light things that I'm talking about, the balls of light, the Judgement bolts, they will shoot exactly the same as Jade's Glory on High ultimate, primary fire. They just throw bolts, except they're not AoE, I guess. I guess it doesn't play like that. Anyway, activate Seraphim Wings to fly free whilst in the sky. Empower your primary and secondary fire, making all projectiles explode in a radius. So, what is this doing? Well, this is... first off, if you play Warframe and you know Jade's Glory on High ultimate ability, or number 4th ability if you'd rather call it that, we have just brought that into Overwatch. That is what we've done. But just because a lot of people don't play Warframe, maybe people don't even know what Jade does, or whatever, we're going to talk about it in obvious, Overwatch terms. So, essentially, you're allowed to fly in the sky for 15 seconds, which is exactly how Mercy works right now, and that is exactly what Seraphim does, and how Seraphim moves around in the sky as well. It is complete control, that you can go up, you can go down, you can turn, you can go right, You can do whatever you want, right? There is no limitation on your movement in the air. I've got that you move 60% faster, and that is, I'm going to be honest, because I didn't check how much faster Mercy moves during her ultimate. But just make it the same as Mercy. That is, that's very lazy of me. I should have done my research, I'm sorry. Whilst this is on, empower your Judgement, which is your primary fire, making all projectiles you shoot explode in a 3-meter radius on allies and hostiles. For the duration, Glory is applied to you, and Transcendence has its cooldown reduced to 6 seconds. A bit to unpack here, but this is very similar to Mercy's ult when it first released as Valkyrie. It's empowering all of your other abilities. It doesn't empower Resurrect, and it actually doesn't put Eye of Rebirth off cooldown, because to be honest with you, it just shouldn't. There's just no reason, there's no need for that, basically. But you're flying around, you're less vulnerable, and this will give you 30 health per second from Glory, because Glory will be on you for the full 15 seconds. In the same way that Mercy heals while she's in Transcendence right now. Valkyrie right now. And essentially, if you remember Ascendance, where the makes her one projectile explode in a 3-meter radius, this makes all of them. No matter, for the entire 15 seconds, all of your bolts of light will explode in a 3-meter radius, applying, you know, Penance and, you know, thingy. And Transcendence is going to be on a 6-second cooldown, down from its 10-second cooldown. Sorry, 9-second cooldown. Did I say Transcendence and Damnation had a 10-second cooldown? It's 9. But yeah, sorry. So, let's unpack this. 2,550 ult charge required at the moment, but once again, that's such a tested thing that I sort of just throw random numbers out. In fact, you know what, next time, the ult charge is going to be completely random. So feel free to call me out next time, because the next reworked character that I do, or Phoenix Reborn Collection, I'm going to say a random ult charge, and everyone's going to go mad, and if you know, then you know. You know, if you know, then, you know, those who know will know. So, let's explain what this is. I also do have the text for her ult, which is, "Look to the sky, for you are saved," which is not cringe at all. But yeah, this is very similar to the way Valkyrie works today, to be honest with you. Apart from, of course, Transcendence and Damnation not being a thing on Mercy. But it makes your heals AoE, and it makes your damage boosts AoE. And it's essentially doing the same thing. Your heals, I could toss a bolt here, and it would hit both of them. And for my Penance, I could toss a bolt here, and it would damage and Penance both of them. The difference is, and this is my opinion, this is how I felt a long time about Mercy's Valkyrie, and it's the reason I don't particularly like Valkyrie as an ultimate. It's the least interesting ultimate in Overwatch. I dare you to find one that's less interesting. Even re-mech on D.Va. At least a cool mech falls from the sky and you get to go back into it. You know, this ultimate not only is it just you get to fly around a bit, but it removes your agency. Right, the whole fun part of Mercy's healing beam. Let's be real, this staff isn't fun to use. You're just holding left click, and it's like I could look over here and it's still going to keep doing it, right? But the fun part of it is to look at people and go, this guy needs a bit, this guy needs a bit. Oh, I can damage boost. Can I get away with this? I can get away with it. This guy doesn't need healing just yet. Let me do a bit more damage. Let me heal a bit. Okay, this guy needs a bit. You know. And then as soon as you can just heal everybody by holding left click, your game mode just becomes hold left click. Right? It takes away all of the fun part of the healing and turns it into mission is being accomplished. This new ultimate does give you AoE healing and AoE damage, but you still have to aim at stuff. You still have to, and if they're not perfectly stacked, like these two are stacked, but this guy's not anywhere near close enough. Someone here wouldn't be close enough either. And so you have to actually aim at people to get the value. Makes it a more engaging ultimate to play within. I think there's a reason so many Mercies, when they pop ult, they go into battle mode where they just start racing at you with a pistol. And it's because it's just so, you feel like you should be doing more in your ultimate. Mercy's ultimate is incredibly uneventful, and I'm going to stick to that philosophy. I'm going to stick to the philosophy of that, but I'm going to say that Glory on High needs to be aimed, because at least then it's much more fun to use as an ability as opposed to... Yeah, but it's still supposed to be quite a quick charged ultimate. It's similar to Valkyrie being quite quick to get back up, because it's not a huge swing, right? It's nowhere near as good as Nano Boost, it's nowhere near as good as the Window, it's nowhere near as good as Rally, it's nowhere near as good as Juno's ult or Kiriko's ult. Even Lifeweaver's ult to an extent is somewhat better, and that's Lifeweaver, Drop the Beat, Transcendence. You get the point. Her ult is one of the least impactful. It's still good, don't get me wrong, but it's very uneventful. And so the Glory on High is going to keep that philosophy, but at least make it enjoyable for the player. So yeah, that's Seraphim. I really, honestly, I kind of hope Blizzard makes Seraphim, even if they make her as her own character, or him, I don't mind. It doesn't make no difference to me. I'm looking at the hands, right? Even if they make him someone else, or make, like, a fun mode, a test mode. Do a test mode for it, Blizzard. See what people think. I don't know. I'm just trying to get my stuff into the game, right? Like, that would be awesome, but, it's just a fun little experiment. This isn't going to happen, obviously. Mercy is what she is, and people that really enjoy Mercy aren't going to want that to change. And people that don't enjoy Mercy probably don't need Mercy to be reworked. But that is going to be all. What do you think of Seraphim? I think she is pretty awesome. I think it would be a great glow up for Mercy. But let me know, or don't let me know. I honestly don't mind. But yeah, I hope you found something enjoyable from this video. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video, where we'll be doing another reworked hero or Phoenix Reborn Collection. So yeah, that's going to be all. So from everybody here at the team, which is just me, I would like to say thank you very much for watching, and goodbye. Good dance by me.